Oh my god. It didn't record. But let me check. Okay, looks like it's good. I don't know. Hello guys, I'm Julia and we are here today to critic and make some logos a little bit better. Today's logo is by Alejandro Plana. Alright, Alejandro told me this is for a music studio, and Masseria is something like a country house in Italy. So this is what he created, and I will show you the things that I changed. Not gonna show the final result yet, but I'm gonna show the things that are a little bit off, and I will walk you through how I got to where I got. Because unfortunately, it's a lost footage. So I just turned the smart guides on, and I will sound weird because I'm trying to focus. Okay, it's hard to talk and design at the same time, so I'm trying my best here. The first thing that I noticed is that he put strokes. Don't ever do this. First of all, when you use a typeface and you put strokes on it, you're actually deforming. Anyway, the first thing I noticed is the spacing between the elements. It doesn't look balanced. This also has a funny shape going on here. I'm gonna make a triangle. Yeah. Snap. This to me is a funny shape, you see? It doesn't, I get it that it's supposed to be an M, but this negative space doesn't balance out with this. Doesn't balance out with this negative space. So these two, this doesn't work. And as I mentioned before, the spacing between the elements just doesn't function. So if you want to do something that's monoline, I always suggest to make a grid, and I'll show quickly what I mean. I took the width of this line, and if you press Command D or Control D, you can multiply it. Now I'm gonna select every other square. Every other square. This is outline mode, which you can activate by pressing Command Y. Command Y, and then we make guides. So now we have something that's more balanced, well spaced out, won't look weird when it's in small size. And I guess this is supposed to be audio waves, audio forms, I don't know what they're called, probably resembling some kind of house. So what I would do is try to maybe look at the letter M here. Oops. I'm gonna outline it, Command Shift O, gonna make it larger. This almost looks like McDonald's. Funny. So do you see here that the negative space on an M is quite, the negative space on an M is quite balanced out. So I'll show you. This is one of the elements that you can work with. In this case, the negative space. Come on, Jules, you can do it. No, I cannot do it. Just reflect this horizontally. Yeah. I don't know why I called it this way. So the negative space is something that you can work with to resemble a certain form. You don't have to literally make the form. Well, I guess I could pull out what it actually made happen here. How did I actually achieve this shape? I just showed you that the negative space of an M happens like more or less like this, right? So this is the negative space. This is what it looks like in between the strokes of the M, more or less. So the area, actually the needles, so to resemble an M, this is sort of the game that you have to play, quote unquote. That looks weird. Resembles other things, but let's keep it, you know, PG. So playing around with this form, I think I actually have the unused here. So playing around with the original form, I spaced it out, and respecting the way that it was done here, I checked it and was like, okay, this doesn't work yet. One thing I always do is that I grab whatever I'm working with, I turn it around and I make it smaller. And then I compare with it upright. Like, does this shape look like something I would resemble the M, would resemble what I'm trying to achieve? No, it doesn't. So I went ahead, okay, what would make it look it more close to an M? So this is what I came up with. Make it smaller. Okay, sort of looks like an M, but it's not quite there. The negative space is a bit weird. Turn it around, I'm hoping to see a W. Yeah, it does resemble a W. It does look, it's still legible in a small size, but it's not quite there yet. So then, okay, negative space is wrong. What does it still need to look like an M? Stop burping. Just had lunch. Anyway, so I came up with this one just by extending this, making the same size of these two strokes here. So consistency, the 3 C's of design: consistency, content, and contrast. So copy, turn it around. Yeah, it looks like a W still, but this is still not quite there. I don't like that this part here, you know, this part is too thick compared to the rest. And it's symmetric, it's more symmetric, and I don't know what I actually went for here. I think it just sort of, when I moved it around, it must have freaked out. But I know that what I did was that I was actually explaining about overshoot on type. So I'll show you what's an overshoot. Okay, that's actually a bad typeface to work with in this case. I'm gonna pick thin, expand it, copy this so you can see it. I'm gonna place a guide here, I'm gonna place a guide here, and this is too large. Overshoot is what rounded typeface or rounded characters and pointy characters need to have in order to look balanced out with the rest of the letters, otherwise they look too small. So the X, it's called X height because the X is the one that sits in the baseline correctly. So this little area up here, it's called overshoot. You're not always going to design things that are mathematically correct. Sometimes things need to be adjusted optically, and you have to trust your eyes. And I was looking at some of those maserias, and I noticed that some of them have an arch. So the door, actually, the doors look like something like this, if I am allowed to see things. The doors look like this. So I was going for this shape to resemble a masseria. I don't know if you can see it. And it also has the negative space that I was talking about to resemble an M. So if we grab this, turn it around, make it smaller. Wait, I should have copied it first. Still resembles an M. It has this nice little shape. It works in very small sizes. Why do I see that? That's annoying. It works in very small sizes, and it, you know, it flows nicely. It has a nice balance, and there is nothing that's overpowering anything. The negative space, it looks, you know, it's optically correct. Regarding the type, I don't know what font it is. I don't think it works. The reason why, you know, the final version is straight here is just to make it sit better. And I do like rounded monoline logos, but I don't think here it would work, just because I wanted it to sit better and I wanted to resemble more this shape, which is the art shape. This shape doesn't work with this setting, and also there was some kind of alignment issues here. The lockup, which is the relationship between the symbol and the logo mark, it just didn't work. And this is too thin to be viewed in a small size, so I went ahead and I picked a font called Bauhaus because it's this artistic, you know, it's related to art and to architecture. Architecture, is that pronounced correctly? I don't know, maybe. And because I used an architecture element to create the symbol, I thought it would be a good fit. So a few tips to actually attain a nice lockup would be picking a square, placing your lockup inside that square, and I'm gonna align it here. And do you see that you don't have that much white space left, and the white space that's left, it's quite balanced and symmetric. And avoid using, you know, bad typefaces that are not well built. Go with the classics. I'm gonna make a list of typefaces to use for logo design. If you're not gonna hand letter, just go with the classics. And track and kern, which are typography terms. Kerning is the spacing between every single letter. Let's type something. La 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 la. Tracking is this. It's the space between, it's the relationship of all glyphs, or the spacing between all glyphs. But kerning is when you turn and bring one letter closer to another. So this is kerning. And some free typefaces, some not well designed typefaces, don't have a good kerning or good tracking, and it just looks weird. And of course you can do it visually and manually yourself, just to give, you know, personality to the mark. You always have to mind, let's turn our quick guides on, or smart guides, Command U. When you're placing something in line, you always have to mind the overshoot. So you don't align to the overshoot, you align to the baseline. And here I aligned the top of this shape. I should probably have aligned with the overshoot actually. Another thing is when you make a style guide, and if you don't know what's a style guide, and if you'd like me to make a video on style guides, let me know down below, and I'll work on creating a style guide on a video, or at least talk about it. So when you do a style guide, you have to specify that, you know, people that will use this logo, not necessarily just the company itself, but they cannot change the relationship between any elements here. They cannot just drag this like that, or just grab this and move up. Like, this cannot happen. The lockups need to be respected. And the reason why I actually do a horizontal lockup and vertical lockup is because in small sizes in small sizes, the horizontal lockup will always be more readable, which is something that you always have to, mind and remember that. The icon needs to look really good small. And then you have a medium size lockup that will look good on up until certain, maybe like a tag size. And this lockup works on, for example, pens and smaller items. So I'm sorry that I actually lost all I had done. I wrote quite a bit in there, but the creation of this symbol talk through. So I'm sending this back to Alex, and he can use this if he would like. I don't need any credits. If you'd like to support, actually, you can go to my shop and scoop up something. You don't have to, but it's one thing you can do. You can also follow me on Instagram and reach out to me if you have any doubts. And you can also... So I wish I hadn't lost the whole process, because it was kind of... I showed a few things that I try to remember now, but it would have been way more interesting for you to see me actually working on this, and I'm aware of that. And this is not the last video I'm gonna do on this series. And if you want me to critique your logo, follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna leave the link down below, and I'm gonna write here on the screen. And reach out to me, ask me, and I'll tell you how to do it. And I'll send this back to Alex. He can use this with his client. I'm not asking anything back. You can take a look at my shop if you want, but I'll leave the link down below, but you don't have to if you don't find anything that you like. And just support each other. Let's make this series something that actually brings value to you. What the hell? Siri just started talking to me. Hey, iPad. I'm planning to do this on logos and lettering pieces. So as long as it's a vector file, I can actually work on it. So if you have a vectorized lettering piece or a logo that you'd like me to work on, just reach out. Follow me on Instagram, reach out, ask me, and we'll make it happen. This is not how I had planned to do this, so next time this will be more, the process itself. So if you would like to see that, just drop a like, drop a subscribe. I'm gonna be posting this up depending on how many logos I get. I've gotten a few, so there's at least a few episodes coming up. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you get some value out of this, because that's the point of doing this. Bye! Meh.